Hi, my name is Kelly Jones and I'm back with another healthy eating tip. Last week we talked about polyunsaturated fats. Now polyunsaturated fats, as a review, are made up of omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids. Both of these fatty acids are essential, which means that our body doesn't make them, so we need to eat foods that give them to us. And we also talked about how omega-3 fatty acids were great for fighting chronic inflammation, which is the beginning stage of almost all modern diseases. And omega-6s, if you're eating them out of proportion with omega-3s, actually create inflammation. So all the good that we're doing with eating the omega-3s is being offset by all of the omega-6s that we're eating. And the omega-6s are coming primarily from vegetable and seed oils. So your corn oil, canola oil, safflower, sunflower, and soybean oils. And I challenged you guys to take a look at the products that you're eating and just start looking at the labels. Okay, so in the nutrition part of the label, the polyunsaturated fats, it's not going to tell you how much is omega-3, how much is omega-6, but if you go to the ingredient list, you can get an idea of where those polyunsaturated fats are coming from. And we talked about these oils and how that would be a great place to start decreasing the amount of omega-3s, while we also did some things to decrease the omega-6s, while we also did some things to increase the omega-3s so that we can get that proportion closer to where it needs to be for our best health. So I wanted to share some different products with you to help give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So when we're looking at unhealthy sources of omega-6 oils, even something like this Kind Bar is made with canola oil. Not our best choice. Here are crackers that you're going to find unhealthy oils a lot in crackers. So these Back to Nature wheat crackers are made with safflower oil. Not our best choice. Another example here, enchilada sauce. This enchilada sauce is made with soybean oil. So those would be some examples where I would say, okay, those are some things where I need to find healthier alternatives. So some of the healthier oils that I can be looking for, that we all can be looking for, one of them is called high oleic oil. Now when you see the words high oleic, that means that the product, that oil that's being used is very high in monounsaturated fats. So probably close to 80% or more of the fat is monounsaturated, which is a heart-healthy fat. So just to give you an idea of a product that has something like that in it, here we've got Amy's Organics Soups, and this is made with organic high oleic safflower and or sunflower oil. So that would be a much better choice. The other category you can be looking for is what we call expeller pressed oil. Sometimes it's called cold pressed oil. And that means that in the manufacturing of the oil, instead of using chemicals and high heat, what they do is they mechanically press the oil right out of the cedar plant. So it's less processed, much more healthy for us, a lot less chemicals being used. So that would be another thing that you could look for on the label. I didn't happen to have any particular examples, but be on the lookout for expeller pressed oil as the oil used in the product. The other route we can go is to actually use products that are made with better overall oils for us. So just as an example, Primal Kitchen makes a line of dressings, which dressings happen to be one of the biggest culprits of these unhealthy oils. They're made with avocado oil. So take a peek at these. Maybe try a couple, see if there's something that you like in that line. Another category that has the unhealthy oils is mayonnaise. This particular mayonnaise is made with 100% avocado oil. Be aware that there are different blends that are sometimes used, and the label might say made with avocado oil, but it's actually made with avocado oil and an unhealthy oil. So that may not be your best choice. So be sure and read the label completely. This particular grain-free granola I really like. It doesn't have any grains in it, but what I like about the oil is it's made with MCT oil. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. MCT oil is medium chain triglycerides oil. 60% of coconut is medium chain triglycerides, and the really great thing about MCT oil is it has virtually no flavor, and our bodies don't store it as fat. We like to use MCT oil for energy. So anytime you see something made with MCT oils, that's a great choice. One thing to keep in mind though, MCT oil should never be used at high heat. So if you're using MCT oil, remember it's more of a finishing type thing. So like maybe my favorite places to use MCT oil are on like a salad along with balsamic vinegar, or on freshly cooked vegetables with some sea salt. Just totally brings out the flavor of that product. Snacks, another area where we see a lot of unhealthy use of oils. And consumers are getting really smart about all this, and they're demanding that these food manufacturers come up with some better choices. So here's an example of avocado oil potato chips. One of my favorite products is this brand here. They make grain-free tortilla chips, also made out of avocado oil. And this particular company has made an organic popcorn using coconut oil. So be on the lookout for snacks like this. Yes, they are going to be a bit more expensive, but maybe that just means we eat a little less of them, which isn't a bad thing because they are kind of idle calories even though they are made healthier. Let's talk a little bit about cooking oils. A lot of times traditional, the path that we take is to just grab vegetable oil or canola oil off the shelf. So remember, if that canola oil is a high oleic or an expeller pressed oil, great, go ahead and use it. If it's not, and you don't have access to something like that, then I want to offer up a couple other ideas. We all know that olive oil is very good for us, and a couple things about olive oil. Make sure you buy it from California so you know that it's 100% olive oil. If it's extra virgin olive oil, use it more like a finishing oil like you would the MCT. If you want to cook with olive oil and at higher temperatures, then just use regular olive oil. It is a little bit more processed, but will be healthier for you. My favorite oil to cook with is avocado oil. It has a pretty neutral flavor, if anything just slightly nutty, but you can use this at high temperatures, you can use this in your baking, and it's just a wonderful product. But once again, make sure it says 100% pure, because there are manufacturers saying avocado oil, but they blend it with something else. I even use avocado oil spray when I'm spraying my pans, so that things don't stick. Another good choice is coconut oil. If you're doing an extra virgin coconut oil or an unrefined coconut oil, it's going to have more of a coconut oil flavor. So if you want to minimize the coconut oil flavor, go with the refined or like the virgin coconut oil, and that will have less of a coconut flavor. It is a little bit more processed, but it's still healthier than these vegetable and seed oils that we've been using. I want to talk about now, how do we increase our omega-3 intake? So I encouraged you last time to add a couple more servings of omega-3 rich foods to your week. And I suggested cold water fish like salmon, trout, herring, sardines. Some people like those, some people don't. There's also, you can do it plant-based. You can do chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. In lesser quantities would be things like walnuts, Brussels sprouts, and omega-3 rich eggs. So I just wanted to give you some different ideas of maybe how to use some hemp seeds or some chia seeds in your everyday life, or a way to add a couple times a week. I particularly like hemp hearts, and I like to add these to yogurt and oatmeal. And you can do that same thing with chia seeds. Chia seeds are one of the most flexible things, flexible type seeds. I mean, you can do so many things with them. So I wanted to give you some ideas of what you could do. You can also add these to yogurt and oatmeal. You can, if you're making like a homemade bread or muffin or cookie, that's a great place to add some chia seeds. If you are eating guac or hummus, you can add chia seeds to that. If you want to make kind of like a chia seed pudding, what you do is you mix 3 tablespoons of chia seeds with 1 cup of like almond or coconut milk. Try to use the unsweetened. Let that sit overnight, and then you can add fruit to that to the next day to sweeten it up. You can also take 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, add it to 1 cup of mashed fruit, and make your own jam. Another great way to add some omega-3s is to, and this would be like if you didn't have those omega-3 rich eggs, is you can mix 1 tablespoon of chia seeds with anywhere from 3 to 6 tablespoons of water, so it just kind of depends on the consistency you're looking for. You let that sit for 10 minutes, you can substitute that for 1 egg. And another area, well, we talked about crackers having the unhealthy oils in them. You can make a very simple cracker yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a 1/2 cup measure. You're going to take some pumpkin seeds, some sunflower seeds, and you might need to put those through a food processor and get them into smaller pieces. A 1/2 cup of sesame seeds and a 1/2 cup of chia seeds. And you're going to mix all of that with 1 cup of water. And then you're going to spread that nice and thin on a cookie sheet. Bake it at 300 degrees for 30 minutes until it's crispy and slightly browned. And that's just a great way to make your own crackers that you know are healthy and are a great source of omega-3s. So I hope this was helpful to you to give you some ideas of how to decrease your omega-6s and increase your omega-3s so you get those polyunsaturated fats more in balance so that it serves your health better. So we will see you next week.